Okay, Dave, it's going to be quite bizarre tonight, right? Or
Very
not?
bizarre.
Very bizarre or not quite so bizarre? Bizarre?
Quite a bit bizarre.
Very strange and bizarre.
It
Yeah.
would be even more bizarre if we saw that one guy from Circle of Fear.
Oh, who? Oh, even if we saw this guy? Oh, jeez.
That's
William Dafoe
bizarre.
star. Okay, here we go. We're going to start this off. Here we go. Come on.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the late night horror show, paranormal show, whatever it is. Paranormal to the night on the late horror show. What is going on? Please don't forget to hit that. I'm all confused now, Dave.
Well, not only that, Restream is really weird today. It's got a new format. Have you seen that?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Because we've got a little on-air button up at the very top now.
Oh, look at Dave's.
And like even down here at the bottom, it's weird. So
Okay. Anyways, this is Remembering Art Bell, number 24, Paranormal to the Night on the Late Horror Show. This is Bizarre Open Lines. What year is this, Dave? This is from
2002.
2002. You guys can listen to me turn my pages. I wasn't going to do that.
January 18th.
Yep. Open lines. So Art Bell used to do open lines, and they were of various topics, ghost stories or, Men in Black line, all different kinds of lines. And, Dave happened to pick the bizarre line.
Don't blame me.
I'm not blaming him. I think even I remember this as being good, but sometimes you go back and listen to this, and this wasn't such a good open line show for Art Bell.
No, and open lines was one of the things I thought was just terrific. A lot of times it focused on a particular topic. However, this one, I think he did too much. He's like, if you know an angel, call in. If you're an alien, call in. If you've had, a funny experience, call in. It was just
one thing that annoyed me in this episode, Dave, was it's supposed to be bizarre open lines, okay? Yeah. And what he did was he wanted people to call in, and if you had one miracle you could ask for the earth or civilization, whatever. And I'll get to you guys real quick here. I'll tell you guys what's going on, all that good stuff in a minute. But people kept calling in talking about, if I had one miracle, and then they list off 3 different things they do for the earth, and they were all, I'm sorry, Dave, some of them were nice, but that's what you're going to use for your one miracle for all of mankind.
Yeah, it wasn't like and we'll get into it when.
Yeah, it was a mishmash of callers, and that's kind of how his open lines went. You would get people just calling in about different things, and then on the topic. But if you got a really good topic, there were always people calling in about it. That aside, we do got some bizarre stories, and we are going to start off here talking about one in particular. And one thing that is bizarre and paranormal at the same time, and I'll get to that in 1 second. Let me say hi to everybody, right, Dave?
Please, and then I'll go ahead and tell everyone who Art Bell was.
Yes, do that. And what I'm going to try to do in between what we're doing here and talking about is, you see the call-in number. I like to do this when we're doing our paranormal shows. If you have a bizarre story right above, bizarre or strange, or even if it's just something funny or you want to share something, you could call in. I will mute screen, and then as Dave talks, and you can share your story. Everybody's got a strange, bizarre story, I'm sure. So we're going to try to do that. I've got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to share the stories. We're going to talk about Art Bell. Now, let me say hi to everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat. Albert Jacobs, what's going on? And thank you, Gigi, for the gifted membership at the beginning before we even went live. Hope things go well. Something happened there. But Mr. Ed, what's going on? Zachary, good to see you. Chris W., what are you doing? What are you doing? Lily of the Fox Valley. Connie Clary. We got a lot of people in tonight. Let's see. Jojo is here. Bizarre is subjective. Yeah. What some people say is bizarre could be quite normal for others. So that's duly noted. Ricky Marshall. Everything Zen. Peace, my brother. I don't know, Dave. What? Dave's got quite the glow about him tonight, right? No lights, no bright lights, just one centered light on him. It looks good, Dave.
I almost don't want to go into sepia mode.
No, you could do that if you want. I don't know, it's up to you. Sepia mode, yeah. Turn that off and turn that on, and that's. Wait, what happened? Now
Oh no.
it looks good now. Anyways, JLR is here. Harry Scott is here. Lord Hoagie is here. Always looking forward to a podcast to fill that Art Bell void. Still haven't found one. Well, stay tuned for Air Evening Podcast. That's kind of being reworked now since the first incantation didn't work out and I was bombarded with yellow jackets and all kinds of things. It was not good. But anyways, tune the news. Jocko is here, maybe. I don't know. That was at the beginning. That could still be here. I don't know. Okay, Dave, let's start off with.
Did you mention the Mad Yokai?
I did not mention the Mad Yokai.
As he says, love the show, guys. So thank you.
Well, thank you. The Mad Yokai.
And Lord Hoagie, that was Lord Hoagie exclamation point.
Oh, Lord Hoagie. Yeah. So it's Lord Hoagie.
That's it.
There you go. Lord Hoagie. I should put an exclamation mark after my show name, The Late Late Horror Show. Anyways, let's move on.
Or we could do the Seinfeld reference, The Late Late Horror Show.
Yes. There was an episode where Elaine Bennis was putting too many exclamation points. Ooh, that's not a spider, is it? Oh, no. Okay.
No, I was thinking these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Yes, that was okay. Lego set just finished. Adventures in Transylvania, Gothic Castle. I know it's hard to see because I'm in darkness, like I always am. I'm a vampire, but there it is. The Gothic stairway that goes up to this. So freaking cool. So cool. Got it front and center here. I know you can't see it perfectly, but it is what it is. What, Dave? What's going on? Oh, you'll be magnifying glass. What's going on there?
I want to see the Gothic staircase.
Okay, I know. I need to do a full in on that. But anyways, so let's get started. Remembering Art Bell. I can't wait to get in the first topic because I have a theory on the whole pass-through thing.
Perfect.
But Dave, go ahead.
All right. Welcome in, everyone. This is our, I think, 24th or 25th Remembering Art Bell episode. We do about one of these every single month. Years ago, back in the 90s, Dino, the guy up here, and me, always would listen to Art Bell. Art Bell during the 1990s was phenomenal. Every night you would go to bed and you would listen to Art Bell.
He was bananas.
You couldn't go to sleep because everything was so interesting that he was talking about. Ghosts, the paranormal, UFOs, out-of-body experiences, the kill shot. Anyway.
Don't get me started.
He had all these great guests. Madman Markham.
We need to do a whole episode on kerplunks on the Art Bell.
Oh, that would be good.
You know, things that just did not happen, which is probably about 99% of the I'm sorry, Dave, interruption again.
That's okay. But his show was so intriguing. Everyone absolutely loved it. And he would do it live, like 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And it would be on from like 10 p.m. to like 4 a.m. and all the time. Unfortunately, he passed away about 7-8 years ago. Yeah. And we started just sitting back, remembering Art Bell and all the great times listening to his program.
Yes. So yes, you can't get any better than Art Bell, really. Yeah, Chris, man, this one I need to. Again, I'm focusing on this channel, so I do apologize. I should start putting this maybe as a members only or a Patreon perk. And if you haven't become a channel supporter yet or Patreon, a channel member, it's pinned to the top of the chat. It's over on the side underneath our video. I would appreciate any support that you guys give to keep the show and doing what I do here, continuing and going on. I really appreciate that. I really do. But this, it's got a Dracula, a crypt on the bottom where the crypt slides off. Dracula pops up and goes back down. It's the coolest thing. It's number 2 on my list of my favorite Legos ever now. The Dark Tower still beats it out, but this is freaking cool as hell. So, Dave, the one thing with these Art Bell shows too, especially the open lines, a lot of times when he starts to talk about a certain paranormal subject or something you think is far out,
Mhm.
he sometimes he will start getting through facts, whatever, emails, story after story after story. And in this particular episode of Bizarre Open Lines, what were you going to say, Dave?
Why does it have to happen at the end of the program?
Well, this one was sporadically, and you got quite a few of them. But I get you. Yeah, no, this show here, Bizarre Open Lines on 2002. The latter fourth was the best of the entire show.
Oh yeah,
Later it got, the better it got. So
100%.
but there's a thing that was going on, and somebody mentioned it's the pass-through thing. Okay, it's where you pass through an object or a car. Literally, most of the stories are about cars, and whether you believe it or not, we always talk about that when it comes to the paranormal. Okay, whether you believe it or not is what it is, right? But there is this thing where, there's a couple stories in here, and basically, a truck's pulling out, and you're about ready to hit it head on, and you tense up, and you go right through it. Okay, and you're like, whoa, and you look behind you, and it's there, and you're like, what just happened? Stuff like this happens. Listen, there's Ripley's Believe It or Not. That's incredible. There's stories on the news that you hear of. So it's not like you don't hear these stories from legitimate sources throughout my lifetime or yours. But there are these things that happen. And a lot of times people go, guardian angel is all I can think of. God was looking out for us, or just unexplained. I've never heard anybody talk about a theory that I kind of got. I believe that because us as human beings, again, we've talked about the whole universe thing where we're all connected, Dave. Energy, everything's connected. Okay.
Yes.
And we don't know a whole lot about everything. I mean, we know very little.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So my thought process is when something like this happens, that we call them miracles, but is there a scientific reason behind some of these miracles, especially this pass-through thing? Like there's a story we'll be talking about, it's a teenage kid, he's just getting in his car, he's driving. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It's the beginning of his life. He's in a car. Brakes aren't working. A truck comes in front of you. And what happens, I think, is you're brought to the point of being so frightened and so scared that I think the body itself and your mind and everything, all the energy around you changes a frequency, a different mode, the entire mass of yourself, the vehicle, everything around you that's moving. I think you get to this point. This is me. I'm just talking here. you get to this point to where you change the frequency of everything that's solid, yourself included. It's almost like when you pop from one place to the other or whatnot. But I think you hit this frequency where you vibrate and you pass right through it because of the state that you're in. And you reach the other side and you open your eyes and you click back to reality. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But I think there's a transformation that's going on there, or a shifting to a different frequency. And I think it's from being so frightened, so scared that just for a second, you're put in that mode, that frequency or whatever, or that shift, and it causes you to pass right through. It's rare. People call them a miracle.
Yeah.
But that's just my theory on it. I've never heard anybody talk about that before, but now you heard it from me. So,
all right. Well, I'm going to tell you my theory.
Okay.
I'm also going to tell you why I have a problem with this.
With what I said?
Not with what you said, but the idea of passing through something.
Of just that happening. Okay.
Which I think is totally cool, and I totally hope it does happen. But the idea that, no one has ever seen it. Everyone who I've heard about has been in the process of, I thought I was going to hit this car. And 99% of the time, it's a car story. I thought I was going to hit it, and then boom, all of a sudden I open my eyes again, and it's in the rearview mirror. And I think that's cool, but I don't hear anyone from the outside going, dude, you wouldn't believe this. I was standing on a street corner, and these two cars passed right through one another. You don't hear that part of the story. But let me tell you what I think happens.
There are stories like that out there, but go ahead.
Okay, but I just haven't heard any.
Okay.
You have an atom, right? The building block of the entire universe.
Right.
And you have photons, you have neutrons and all that, and they're circling kind of like the planets in a solar system.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all sorts of empty space. But it creates a solid object. So for some reason, and as you said, for that split instant, all of a sudden, I feel that we're dealing with that negative space, that maybe dark matter that's in between all the building blocks. And that's why this can happen.
Is that sort of what I was saying too? Could that be kind of included with that? Like shifting to a different frequency, which puts you in that dark matter, which we know is all around us, but we really don't know what it is.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, that could work into a very good theory, something I've never heard of either before. So, yeah. All I can say, Mav fan, is, and you've been here before, so I know you've been to these shows. And listen, nothing wrong with not believing, you know what I mean? Everybody believes in what they believe in. And I just would say go to all of the stories. I think the stories are overwhelming, that there's something paranormal, something odd, bizarre, unexplained that's going on out there. There's too many stories of it. I've got people in my own family that I know they're not lying. How do you? There's near-death experiences. There's the whole reincarnation thing. You can, and again, I understand to the point of until it happens to me, I just am not going to believe it.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
But I think,
stuff happened to me. And I'm like, I'm a pretty grounded person. But, I'm going to take what you say as gospel and until I think there's just kind of like what we do on the Ghost to Ghost. There's a certain time where it's like, no, it's entertainment. No, it's, some story that's been passed down.
Yeah.
But if it happens to you, like I totally believe your story of going to the bathroom and there's a big guy in the way.
Oh, well, without a doubt, that happened.
And I think there's, places on this earth that are evil. I think there are a lot of things that we don't see going on around us. And I eventually think we will. It's paranormal will turn normal at some time with some scientific.
Even scientists, theoretical physicists talk about different levels of existence on frequencies and planes of existence, levels of different dimensions, so there's the unknown that's out there and we just really don't know. And I would say, of course, there are people who just Do not, there's people that have mental illness. There's people who are on drugs. There's people who are just plain old out there, so that's why I say you do your research, you look at the information, where's it coming from, is there anything in the history of this person, or there's things you do to break down the truth, right? So to find the truth, do your research and figure things out, but again, that part of that side of things is so overwhelming, it's not even funny. Harry Scott, member for 38 months at level 2 support. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Dino and Dave for putting all the efforts into these shows. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. That's for sure. So there you go. There you go. That's my thought. And I had to bring that up just because that was my thought process. And you had a good theory too, Dave. Let's go with the first story.
Well, one of the stories that I absolutely loved, and again, it was kind of toward the end of the program, and I loved it because it was near me. It was these two girls.
Oh, is that why you liked it, Dave?
Yes.
It was near you and there were two girls?
Absolutely. Even though it was 1969 and they were hippies, probably.
Yeah. No, this is a cool story. This is probably maybe the best one of the night. 1969, bizarre. It's Kate. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, I was reading Zachary Stephen Cannon's.
Oh, Dave, you were discussing. Should I? Dave, you were discussing interpretation of solids.
Interpenetration of solids.
Well, I
don't think we can say that word though on YouTube.
Interpenetration. What did I say, Dave?
Interpretation.
Interpretation. Okay, yeah. See, the apparent passing of one solid through another as atomic empty spaces shift and lattices deform without atoms touching. Okay. Well, we won't get into that tonight because we are going to talk, but that is deep. And that is something that I really have to think about, Zachary. It's a good thought, but yeah, discussion for another night. So highlighted and there you go. Dave, one other thing I'd like to do too, during the show tonight, I'd like to throw out bizarre stories that are real, that have happened.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the story Dave was talking about.
Sure.
This one's from 1959. It's called the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
Oh my God.
You know this?
So good.
Oh,
this scares the caca out of me.
Listen. So 9 experienced hikers in Russia were found dead under bizarre circumstances. This is a horror movie. I'm telling you, very bizarre. The tent slashed from inside. Some ran barefoot into the snow. Massive injuries with no external wounds of any kind. High radiation on clothing. Still no solid explanation. Theories range from military experiment to something paranormal. So that's a bizarre story, which is documented and has happened. So take that for what you may. Dave, right? I mean,
I'm Dave. How are you?
Oh, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
But that is one of the stories that really scares me, the bejesus out of me. It's these guys, something scared them so bad, they were fighting to get out of their tents. In fact, what I remember is that they weren't wearing that many clothes for as cold as it was. So they were just trying to get out. We don't know if something was after them. Most likely, I'm guessing it was some type of radiation poisoning. Personally, that's what I think happened. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know if it is a paranormal thing or not. I don't think it is, but it is a very scary thing.
It's bizarre with unexplainable circumstances, that's for sure. So, but again, who knows? And yes, it is a call-in show. If the number's right there, if you got a bizarre or strange story, Lord Hoagie, wait till Dave talks about this first story, and then please call in if you want.
All right.
Anyways, Kate, let's go. She's
Hey,
with her friend. They're hippies, 1969.
they are. They are. You can imagine what they're wearing. And they go dancing like at night. It's like a Friday night. And it's just two girls and they're driving home late. And after they go dancing, they go to Denny's because that's where all the hot girls go.
Listen, through the 70s, even the 80s, and then it kind of went down. We used to hang out at Denny's till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So when we were teenagers, so I get it. But yeah.
Everything was inexpensive there. It was like Taco Bell. It was $1.99, like Grand Slam breakfast and all of that.
Oh, the hash browns with ketchup. Oh, I love it.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
we're driving 10 on the 10 freeway east. We're headed toward Redlands, and all of a sudden they're on this, road that is dirt.
Well, they're getting ready to pull off the ramp to go to Denny's.
Yes, they are.
But
all of a sudden it's like they wake up and poof, they're on a dirt road out in the middle of nowhere. They say they don't even see any lights. Now, that would scare the heck out of me because that is, and hello, the mummy and the monkey.
Hey, the mummy and the monkey. What is going on?
And I mean, when you don't see any lights, it's like a Children of the Corn type of thing where it's just like we're just driving in through the dirt. And I've been to Redlands. I'm sorry, it's scary there during the day, but they're in the middle of the night. And they're all like, we had to take this wild way down to San Diego and make a loop around because that's the only way I knew how to get home.
Oh, how'd I hit that? That just came up. What the heck? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Dave.
Okay.
William Dafoe came up.
Basically, they lost 2 hours of time.
Missing time.
And this woman, Kate, says,
I love how you talked about the road, though. It's long. They were driving for like ever down this, no lights, no nothing, just a dark road.
Well, that's what we've got here in California. When you get outside the cities, you have, we were a big agricultural area, especially for citrus trees and things like that. So you had a lot of straight lines. You had basically meridians and you had baselines is how our street system is. Yeah. So you've got super long roads from here to there. And this lady also says that she can't wear jewelry anymore because the metal bothers her.
Yeah, after everything happened, first of all, 2 hours of missing time. They're all the way like 4 or 5 hours away from where they were. So they got to travel all the way back. And it's funny that her friend mentioned, she goes, I thought we were just at Denny's, So was she left at Denny's, the girlfriend? Was she part of the missing time? She didn't kind of go into that very deeply.
She was in the car with her.
Yeah.
So I think they were like maybe pulling, as you say, pulling up the freeway. Hey, there's the Denny's right off the off ramp.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden, boom, we're on this road. And again, it's like, they've lost time. They're in a totally different area. Like the aliens put them back, kind of like Betty and Barney. Yeah. And, they were just, wearing clothes, but everything, like their car keys weren't where they should have been,
Story after story after story. And listen, Benny and Barney Hill, Betty, not Benny and the Jets, but not, this is Betty and Barney Hill. Missing time. Yes, it's this story has been told over and over and over by so many people. So it's a thing, if you believe it. But, and there's people that can corroborate these stories, they're with people, family, friends, back it up and say, listen, yeah, again, you can say something else happened, but it always coincides with other evidence. Like Dave said, after the fact, Dave, like you were saying, her skin was sensitive. She couldn't wear jewelry and all that.
Right.
And go ahead.
Well, later on, Art Bell says, hey, you were probably abducted. And she's all, I probably was. But
and electric phenomena. Sorry, you didn't mention that either, though. But
I'll come back to that. Hold on.
She'll come to the computer. It'll shut off. Lights will get. Anyways, go on.
It was kind of like Close Encounters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But later on, she says, I had this kid, and we're out in like Lassen County or something like that, and we're looking up, and there's this meteor that's dropping, and all of a sudden the meteor stops, and you hear Art Bell going, "It stopped." And she's, oh yeah.
Well,
And then
she
it made
said,
up.
well, she was in the front yard with family and some family members and stuff, so they saw it too. And yeah, she mentioned she thought it was a meteor, but then it was just like this neon glowing like object.
Yeah,
And
it
yeah,
turned neon blue, and then it turned left, and it like hit around a mountain. And he's all, you got to call John Mack. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember John Mack when like basically John Mack steps off a curb and gets hit by a car. And what's his name? Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd says, like, on that day, like 5 John Macks were killed, in bizarre ways. And just fascinating.
you mean in different realities? 5
No,
John.
and just in different people named John Mack died like all over US and England.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was the other thing about, because we had some missing missing person stories, you know what I mean? And because some people just up and go missing,
Yeah.
and that's a story here somewhere here. We'll get to it.
The snow one?
Is that the snow one? Yeah, maybe it's the first one that we'll talk about. So I'll get to it here.
Okay. Cool.
But how many people go missing just in the US every year? I mean,
It's scary.
a good amount of them are found either dead or alive. Okay. But
Those
there's
are the only 2 options. They either have to be found dead or they have
they're found dead or alive. You know what, Dave? That
They,
makes a lot of sense.
all right. Glad that college degree didn't go to waste.
The ones that are found alive, mysterious circumstances or other various things. Yeah, that was kind of dumb to say. But my point being that tens of thousands every year just vanish. And also there are, what was the number here? I did bring it up. How many? There's a good percentage. Let me see. Like roughly around 5,000 unidentified bodies are recovered in the US each year. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of bodies.
A lot of people.
That's a lot of people unidentified, people who are just, who is this, but the amount of people who go missing, where do they go? I mean, it's just strange. But anyway,
Well, I remember listening to like David Paulides, who I think is just fantastic in terms of his storytelling ability,
yeah,
his research abilities. And he's focused more on cities, but he earned fame talking about all these national parks and especially how many people would be out at national parks that just go missing, and particularly kids that had like autism or some other type of issues.
Yeah. Hey, Gutters Pub, what's going on? Good to see you. Ricky Marshall, I did say hello. Bubba, what's going on? And J.O.B. Late one night, 1 a.m., turned the TV off to go upstairs to bed. So the home was dark. Then suddenly, a bright glowing light came through the window. I froze, then went to look out the window. Nothing. I have an uncle who had the same experience. Something woke him up, bright glowing object outside where there should not be no bright glowing object. As soon as he went to the window, poof, gone. He also, a couple weeks later, did see a UFO up in the sky, and he said it was tree line. This is coming from my uncle. So, I mean, I tend to believe him. So, who knows?
But I
got to
would
see if you believe it.
circle back to David Paulides. He said that also disappearing is not a crime. And there's a certain amount of these people that will purposely disappear. I don't want to be around my family anymore. And they disappear.
Oh, yeah.
And the family's all, we need them. We now, and it's just like, you can imagine why they ran away. And there's also that part, like, I think I've told on a previous broadcast we did, I have an aunt that passed away, Aunt Vi. She lived in Kansas. And one of my cousins was the caregiver for her. And she's all, hey, we're going to have in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a memorial for her. Why don't you all show up at the end of the month? And everyone showed up at the end of the month and everything was gone. And I mean, the house was empty. All the bank accounts were empty. There's nothing left. And I mean, that happened 30 years ago. She's never resurfaced. She's a missing person, quote unquote.
Well, listen, how many serial killers and murderers and things like that, or people just accidents happen, they get rid of body. I mean, it's unfortunate, but listen,
There's a lot of land out there.
Yeah, it's very. Art Bell in this episode also said something that I do want to bring up, because people were talking about miracles and stuff like that, which it actually bored me most of the show. But there was one talking about, I want nobody to feel any pain or suffering of any kind. And Art Bell made a point. And even though we all hate sickness, we all hate pain, we all hate all of that stuff. But in Art does, he goes, without pain and suffering, and think about this, if you were never exposed to pain, suffering, sadness of any kind, how would you possibly understand joy or happiness? And I thought about that. I'm like going, it's a very, very, very good point. You know what I mean? And would we still be capable of feeling to the height that we are now, that joy and happiness that we feel when the endorphins are released and all of that stuff? Without pain and suffering, do we not get that endorphin release? Are we zombies basically walking around not feeling much of anything? I mean, good thing he brought up, I thought.
Maybe that's why the aliens are alien. Is that, we've, like when we talk about the Greys and they all look the same and they are all like, kind of like, human form, but no, like, you can't tell if they're male or female or anything like that. They're just very androgynous. And it's like they don't have that pain sensor. They don't have that. I think it's what makes us human, is that range of emotions.
Oh, yeah. Well, oh, my God. Something was on my screen before we even went live. Speaking of this, was it a yellow jacket? It's a sunfish, I think it's called. It's basically a seal. Why does it never reacts to anything? A seal comes up and starts eating it, and it's still floating around by the seal until it dies from it eating as much as it gets. It's because it evolved to not have any nerves. It has no nerves or feelings, throughout its system. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. But anyways, another thing he brought up, and this will just be 1 second, Dave, the coming global superstorm that Dave and Whitley Strieber brought up. And he always talked about the quickening. Something's coming. Listen, we're talking middle, late 1990s to now. That's a bunch of BS, Dave, right? So we can wrap that up as a bunch of BS. I think when you start to talk about that kind of stuff and worrying about, listen, we all worry about the planet. Keep it clean. Be respectful of where we live on this planet, right? But I think this planet, the solar system, it's so interconnected and so a living being itself, the whole Gaia thing, that I don't think we do much of anything. And then all you need is one explosion from a volcano and it kind of resets everything or turns things up. It's...
that's what I was thinking. The same type of thing where you have a volcano explode, it does more damage or more good than everyone else.
Than 100 years of us burning coal in these factories and stuff.
Yeah. And all of a sudden we have a global cooling, which all of a sudden we can't have that,
right.
And, it's like when was it Krakatoa went up? It's like we had the year without a summer because of all the ash and everything, and it cooled the earth. So.
Oh, don't even get me started, Lord.
That's a whole nother thing.
We've talked about that on previous things. Okay, so let's get to, I got this. Oh, you've talked about that story. What did you want?
First of all, I want to say hello to Kathy, because she just.
Oh, Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
And also, I think it was Lord Hoagie a while ago said he was very impressed with your set around you. And I was going to mention, not only is it impressive now, you should have been here like 9 years ago when there was actually a lot of stuff in the set.
Yes, I've condensed everything down, so I just put the best of the best, and everything else is over there with the rest. You like that? But yeah, maybe they are alien nudists, Ricky. Wait, what's going on, Ricky?
Do we want to see alien nudists? I don't think so.
Hey, Sean, what's going on? What's going on? Listen, there's just too many strange things. But let me get to the next first story, because we got to talk about some of the stories here. Paul from San Diego, Dave. I think it's number one. It's another vanishing story where there was a blizzard going on. He was a state trooper. This was in late 1960s. There was a car on the side of the road buried, in the snow. This isn't so much vanishing as maybe a missing person, just like vanishing out of,
Oh no, I think it's vanishing.
You think just vanishing? Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll get to it, and I'll tell you why.
Okay. So he's a state trooper, Paul, and he goes up to the car because the guy's standing on the side of the road. His car looks buried. It's some kind of expensive car. I could think of Lincoln something.
Lincoln Town car.
Lincoln Town car. There you go. And he asks, "Hey, did you need a lift to the station or anything? Keep warm and stuff?" He goes, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." He said, "I'm just about ready to go over to the gas station over there and get myself some stuff." He goes, "Are you sure? You look like you're, not going to be able to get out of this and stuff," which he wasn't. But anyways, he says he started to talk to a couple other people that were there at the gas station, and a couple minutes go by and he looks around and he doesn't see the guy anywhere, and he goes into the gas station. And he asked him, "Hey, did you see this guy? Who is he? Explain to his features and all that." Guy says, "No, I haven't seen him. Nobody came in here looking like that. No, not at all." So he goes back out, looks at the car, everything, and the guy's just gone. You don't see him anywhere. He just vanished. And there's a blizzard going on. I mean, my thought is he could have gone 40 feet and, if it was snowing that bad and fell down, who knows? But he assures that they looked everywhere. They didn't see him anywhere. There's no way he walked down the street. He knew the state trooper was there. There were other people there. He just vanished, Dave. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing was that, the next morning the car was still there because he couldn't find him. So the next morning they came and tagged it, to be towed back or whatever. It's sitting here on the side of the road or whatever. And I hate that he didn't give us a detail that we needed, but maybe he couldn't. He did say, because Art says, "Well, did you get an address or whatever?" He said he did get an address. And the guy never showed up at his address either. So he's a missing person. He vanished. He did. That night, he just vanished. Nobody knows where he's at. And that's a story. Yeah, he just vanished.
That was one of my favorite stories.
Really?
It scared me the most because you have a car here and you can see the gas station. It's not like, hey, go down a block, go over 2 blocks. It's right there. All you have to do is walk from point A to point B. And he didn't make it. And when the snow thawed, he wasn't there either. And the same type of thing where all of a sudden the car gets towed. It's in an impound lot. They find the owner. They contact the residents. He's never come back. So it's just like he was taken up, or he was, disappeared through a portal. Maybe it was in Utah. Maybe it was Skinwalker Ranch. And we just don't know.
It could have been anything. Like Mummy Mug says, wow, maybe a ghost. Don't think a ghost, because the car, I think, was registered to this man that he tracked the address to. I guess he couldn't state his name over the air, but if I was Art, I would have said, "So you knew the person." I mean, he didn't really ask that. He just said, "You got the address. Did you know this person? You tracked, you tried to track him down and he just ended up being missing, gone." They didn't really say much of that. I would have liked to have heard that. Mm-hmm. Because it could have been, ship plucked them up, who knows? So a car could have pulled up Dave. He could have jumped in, never to be seen again.
Or been kidnapped.
Yeah. Because he had his head turned. And Chris W does say, "Aren't all ETs generally nude?" Not exactly. There's some that wear spacesuits. The reptilians, I think they're, I think they even got some kind of garb on, right? Yeah, and they're underground. But most ETs are dressed in, even the Nordics, the tall, blonde Nordic type, have flowing white gowns. Some are in human-like clothes. Some have the like typical space skin suit, the typical grays and all that. So not all of them are ETs, like ET phone home. He was nude, and those kids should have covered him up. But anyways, go on, Dave.
And I think they did. They dressed him like a woman.
Not the whole show, but he was
There-
nude most of the show.
There was part where I remember them putting lipstick on, and he's in an old lady's dress.
Yeah. No, listen, human trafficking, that's another big thing that happens with missing people. But when we throw in this paranormal thing, I mean, it could be a result of something like that, but depends what we're talking about.
But that just reminded me of you talking about the different aliens, how we watched In Search of Ancient Aliens last week, and it was so great. So thank you everyone for watching that. We're going to be doing Ancient Mysteries sometime right after the first of the year.
Yes, and we'll go over all the upcoming shows at the top of the hour, and a lot of fun, good things. ET phone home, ET phone home. Listen,
are you?
Oh, go on, Dave. Go on.
Are we going to be sponsored by Reese's Pieces?
I doubt it very much.
Then we're not going to mention
that. No. Okay, so that was that story. You can pick up on the next one, Dave. I don't know where you want to go.
I really don't either.
Me either.
I remember there was this woman, Consuela, from Roswell, and she talked about how her mother had lost a child, and she was in the hospital, and she had an out-of-body experience where she was floating above everything, watching it, because her life was in danger as well.
Wait, was this the woman who lost the child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was losing the child, but it was also to the point where she was going to lose her life as well.
Yeah.
And so she's floating up above everyone. And
I always think it's so interesting when they talk about leaving their body, because she's in surgery on the table. The doctors are working on her, and she went up to. She said the pain was overwhelming, and she floated to the corner. And so the body always does this kind of floating, up towards the ceiling, which I'll never forget and he mentioned it in this episode too, about the doctor or medical team, whoever has heard enough stories of near-death experiences of people hovering above and going up to the next floor. So, and there was a sticker on the one light fixture that you would only pass through if you were dead. It says, if you're seeing this, you have died, So anyways, I thought that was so cool. But anyways, go on, Dave. I interrupted.
It was gallows humor.
Yeah.
But what I thought was cool about this is that she went into the waiting room, hovered into the waiting room to comfort her husband who was in there before she came back to her body. And I thought that was such a really interesting part of the story, but also I would have loved to have heard if the husband ever felt anything differently, like someone put their arm around him, or felt the presence or anything like that. Thank you, Albert Jacobs, for the $4.99 super chat, super sticker. Thank you. Yeah, it's the one thing, Dave. Yeah, but you know what? If you experience something like this, there's no doubt in your mind, right? If you leave your body and you're able to go to your husband or move around, and then you come back to your body, for the rest of your life, you have to know, listen, there's no doubt in my mind. You should be the happiest person on the face of the earth from that point forward. Very true. And before I get to the second part of her story, I had one out-of-body experience when I was about 5 years old. I was in the living room, and I was looking across the living room to the hallway, and I saw myself move from left to right, passing the doorway into the living room. How did it take this long for you to tell us the story? I don't know. Because that's weird. How old were you? I was about 5 years old.
I think it was just your imagination, Dave.
It could have been.
No, I'm joking. That's what people would say.
Yeah.
Were you 100% to this?
100% sure.
Okay.
And I was moving things from a room that was on one side to a room that was on the other down the hallway. And I'm standing here in the living room and I'm watching myself move like a chair.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Well, again, this show, a lot of stuff is talked about like that, like time shifts, like what is going on when something like that happens, I mean, there's multiple reasons for it, like I think the one woman, Kate, was abducted, and she even said later in years that with her kids, she's seen an object in the sky too. So it's stuff that kind of, follows her around, but the whole missing time thing, the whole out of body type thing, like, are you seeing yourself in the future sense? Is it some sort of precognition? Is it you witnessing something, as a time slip type thing? You know what I mean? So there's just so many things that could be going on there,
Well,
Anyway.
anytime, there's been a couple times where, you've had dreams.
Yeah.
And then those dreams kind of become reality. But if you continue on the story of what happened in the dream, you don't want it to continue. I remember one time I was working retail and I had this dream where there's these two ladies that came in, and I was helping them. And then when I went to the register, it was like a stick up type of thing, robbery.
Okay.
And so about a year later, I'm at the store. These two ladies come in and I flash back to that dream. And instead of going to the register, I went the exact opposite way. I'm like, excuse me, ladies, I have to go, just so, and I don't know if that was something that disrupted, the timeline, or, it was just something that was telling me don't go to the register.
Oh yeah, no, wow, yeah, you're bringing out the stories tonight, Dave. Woo, geez.
I had to because of this episode. But back to Consuela, she also said she had an uncle who was 89 and he broke his hip. He was pronounced dead, and it reminded me of your story because 5 hours later he said something. He goes, "Damn, I'm hungry."
Oh, you're talking about the story later on, a little bit later on.
Yeah, this is actually from the same lady whose mother lost a child. And she talked about her uncle.
Oh, yeah. 89 years old, broke his hip. He died. He was pronounced dead. And the doctors called his children, his family, everything. 5 hours later, he sat up and said, "Man, I'm hungry. What am I doing?"
And prior to his death, he had been like really depressed and he wasn't eating and everything like that. And so the first thing he does is like, "Man, I'm hungry. Let's get some food."
Thank you, Fluff Chick Productions. Connie, thank you. $5 super chat. Thank you, Dino and Dave. I really appreciate that. Hey, Overkill with an O. Thank you, Connie. Fluff Chick Productions. I think three streams up there with me and you, Connie and Chris. So fun times. But yeah, the guy waking up. Listen, I've talked about this a lot too. And Art Bell brings up another story of he's like a quick thing where a guy was in a casket even. Listen, there's so many stories of people pronounced dead 20 minutes later, Dave, waking up. But the guy was in a casket ready to be incinerated. Okay, for ashes to go in the little vase. And he woke up right before he was put in. And how many people were actually dug up to back in the day, and they found clawing, like trying to get out of because they probably woke up.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Dave, that is my worst nightmare.
Likewise.
Don't want to be buried alive. No.
Well, that's also, I remember way back in the day learning about what the graveyard shift meant, and it was when someone died, they would tie like a string to their finger. And if they moved in the casket, it would ring a bell. and
Yeah.
your family members were there on the site for the first week after you died, just in case we
Yeah.
made a mistake. But man, likewise, that scares the heck out of me.
Yeah, Zachary makes a good point too. Something I've talked about over and over again: lucid dreaming, or even astral traveling out of your body. And you feel kind of, it happens to me when I do a flush to my ears or nostrils. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, lucid dreaming is a little bit different than astral travel, or you know, getting to the point of sleep and actually being able to leave your body, at least a part of you leaving your body, because I don't think that the body's left totally empty like a lot of people say when they talk about astral traveling. I think there's two components of the body, which consists of a bit of energy and your soul. And if that soul's going on a journey through astral travel, that energy still sticks around and doesn't leave it vacant to be possessed. I think that's a whole different story, and we could talk about that another episode. But in astral travel is something I've done. And listen, the dreaming side of my thing, I think I could do a whole show on that. And I think I've talked about that enough. Where, man, when I dream, I go to somewhere else, and it's not just my mind playing a story or a movie. They're so real that I do believe it's somewhere else I go. At me in particular. But anyways, Dave, the next. Oh, go ahead.
Actually, do you ever worry about not getting back into your body or back into this world?
Never, because I've never had the feeling of that. There was never a scary moment or something that happened that had frightened me. It's always been to where I know what's going on, and then I awake, and I can make myself awake, wake myself awake up. Just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mixing my words, Dave.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, never a scary moment.
You did have
But
2 ginger ales today, so.
yeah, it's I'm overdoing it on the ginger ales. Traveling fools, yo. What's going on? Astral travel would be very interesting. It's more than a little interesting, Albert Jacobs. Do you got to? Oh, it's top of the hour.
It is.
Okay, and then I got some good things to talk about too
Yeah,
here.
I was hoping you'd share another bizarre story.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and look at some upcoming shows, because now through the end of the year is going to be just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Next week,
Thumbs up, everybody. Please give a thumbs up. We have 61 now. Always like to get to at least 100, but might be tough, but we're at 61. Please give a thumbs up if you're in the stream and you haven't done so already. And consider supporting the channel. Thanks for the super chats, everybody. I really appreciate that. And Dave, yeah. So what do we got coming up here?
I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to be talking Kolchak the Zombie. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Yep.
We've already covered this.
Yeah.
We are revisiting, because just like we did with the Ripper.
Yeah.
Dino and I had not done the Ripper together. He had done the Ripper with Ted.
Yeah.
So on our second watch of that program, we had different thoughts and different feelings about it, having watched the entire series. And we're going to go through with the zombie and see if we had the same feeling the second time around, because both of us had this in our top 5, because it's a really, really good episode.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think revisiting these episodes are going to be fun. We get to talk about Kolchak again, and we get to bring up different things and things we may have missed, and how do we feel about it again. So I want to do this. I want to revisit. So
I can't really revisit the werewolf.
Nah, I can't either, because I'm wondering. I was pretty tough on it, Dave.
You were very tough. It was 16th on your list out of 20.
So I was very tough. So I'm curious how I'm going to react to it on a second watch. So anyways, what else do we got?
All right. So the week after, we're going to go to Night Gallery. We have X-Files, episode 7. Scooby-Doo.
Zoinks! Wait, Zoinks! Scoob! The podcast. Anyway.
We'll finish up December with an Art Bell Ghost to Ghost 2003 Part 2, per Chris W.'s request, and our annual prediction show on the 28th. And I'm hoping somewhere in there we can fit in an extra Wednesday show. More information later on that.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, that would be, yeah, that would probably be the time to do that. So, yeah, okay, okay. So yeah, there you go. Please hit that zoinks Scoob thumbs up button if you appreciate, and let me do another quick bizarre story that's been, it's kind of it's true. Okay, so here we go. I mean, technically, the Green Children of Woolpit from 1100s. It's a long time
Is that
ago.
like Mel's Hole?
But this is very
The
no,
wolf.
no, this is very popular, and it's known. So the two children with green skin appeared in an English village speaking an unknown language. They claimed to be from a place called St. Martin's Land, a world of perpetual twilight. The boy died, and the girl lost her green color and lived a normal life. This is very, very well known and very popularized. And it's not just lore and legend, but it is lore and legend, and it's been written over and over and over. So this is something that happened, you would think. Anyways, very bizarre, Dave.
Very
So
bizarre. And I want to say I've heard Simon Intuit tell that story.
who?
Simon
Entwistle. Yes. I've got a lot of stories backlogged on him for your evening podcast. It was very nice of him to send those all to me, which will be an Airy Evening podcast, which I think is going to go live. Details on days and nights and stuff like that coming up. But anyways, let's get to, I want to talk about, I'm going to jump over number 5 and go to 6. The UFO story about the woman driving with her sister. I don't know the names. It's a UFO story where her mother passed away.
Okay.
And the woman and her mother were driving to Las Vegas.
Oh,
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes.
Good story. And they drove about 89 miles in 5 minutes. So another missing time, did a UFO pick them up, take them, plop them back down? But they drove 89 miles and they were somewhere way farther than they started, but they were on their way to Las Vegas. So in 5 minutes, this is the amount of time they lost, but they were 89 miles away. What's going on? What are you laughing at?
I would say when I go to Las Vegas, I wish I could be abducted to get 89 miles closer, because that is a long, boring drive sometimes.
Right. But the weird... Okay.
I was going to say, I think that's really cool, though, if you have an alien abduction and a lost time, because I think time plays a big portion in the way that they travel through the universe, how they bend space and time. So I don't think it's uncommon for them to do it here.
Yeah. Time being irrelevant, is something that needs to be talked about more. Anyways, okay, so the interesting part of the story is after this, and they realize this, they pull off the side of the road, okay, to try to figure out, hey, where are we at? And they pull off to the side of the road, and there's she called them Silton people, and I'm like going, what's Silton people? But it's basically like people from 1940s, 50s. They're in their clothes, they're a little dirty, you see the dirt on them, and they haven't cleaned and stuff, they had a hard days of work.
They're kind of dressed the same as well as what I took that,
yeah,
kind of very Twilight Zone-ish,
yeah, and they weren't really like acknowledging them too much, and like they weren't there or something along those lines. Dave, am I getting that correct?
Yeah. It was almost like she was walking through a movie set or something along the lines of, one of our wax museums.
Yeah.
Where these people weren't really paying attention to her.
Seemed out of the ordinary, decades past, Yeah, is like they were in so yeah, very weird. Some kind of time slip, something going on there too. And then they got back in their car and they eventually, I guess, made it to Las Vegas. But very interesting story. Yeah.
It was interesting, but this was part of the Art Bell lore that I hate
Okay.
because he starts talking about the Baker Triangle.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to Las Vegas, one of the last major cities before you hit state line is Baker. And Baker is a weird town. It has a Carl's Jr., it has a McDonald's, it has the world's tallest thermometer, it has a beef jerky, like alien jerky place. It has a big like gas station. It might be a Buc-ee's. I don't think so, but it's a big gas station. But it's weird. And he says the surrounding area is weird and weird things have happened. I can totally see that, having been there many times myself. However, this is something he never talks about again. What is the Baker Triangle? It's just like with the Bigfoot map, where with Art's parts, it's like we don't get the rest of it, and this upsets me.
Yeah, no, and Dave's mug is not hidden, as you see. It's hidden now. It's not. It's there. He just pushed it in the middle of the desk. Yeah. Oh, it's connected. It charges. Oh, it's got a light above it. See, Dave goes to sleep and he's got to highlight his pens, and all the other lights are turned off except for his mug of pens. And he just sits and stares, and he remembers because there's a memory attached to every single
Each pen has a story.
Each pen has a story. So, okay, let me see what's Jade. Jade, I don't be that. What if that 3i Atlas is just an alien tour bus that has aliens inside taking pictures of humans? Hey, could be.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, the end of December, I think, is his closest pass by to Earth. So, yeah, we'll find out. But
I bet those Heaven's Gate people are pissed they took their own lives.
Oh my God, you think they took the wrong? Yeah, it's like they were waiting, and this is it.
This is it.
Oh man.
Well, you know what they say? Another alien spaceship shows up 5 minutes later. Thank you.
Okay, Dave, you go. You go. New one. Next story.
Oh my goodness.
Kathy says, anything new in your drawer, Dave? Anything new in his drawers?
Thank you note.
Thank you note. I don't wear drawers. I wear Speedos.
Yeah, there's nothing new here, Kathy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nothing new. Dave,
it's the usual stuff.
See, when things get packed to the tilt, like his drawers and cups and mugs, he finds something new to start off fresh with.
Yes.
And that's kind of some of the joy of filling up the cup, the drawer, the box, right, Dave?
My home.
Your home.
When I moved in here, it was a dance studio. I was literally thinking, and this is 30 years ago, bringing in gym equipment to work out because there was so much room. Now I don't even have elbow space here. I have so many pins, so many books.
I'd love a maze of books. Like you can't move around through your rooms because there's so many books.
Yeah, that's what this is. And
California is a gateway to Death Valley. I'm sure that's possible. That's true, right, Dave? Yeah. Californian. Okay. Pick a new story, Dave. Come on.
I don't know. There were so many just.
Hey, Vicky.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just going to go through.
I know it's hard to pick the good ones, but there's a couple more.
Oh, there's a cat story. Lorraine.
There's a lot of cat stories in this. Most of them you just.
Yeah. There's Lorraine from Las Cruces. She's a vendor. She sells arts and crafts at street fairs. And so Dino's like, screw this, I'm out of here. And she sees up above on the rafters that she sees this cat walking on the cross beams. And all of a sudden the cat steps off the cross beam into thin air and disappears. And Art Bell's like, did it fall? No, it didn't fall at all. It just disappeared. And she talked to the vendor that was next to her. Did you see that? And she goes, the cat was walking on the beams. So that's all that I had.
Yeah, Lord Hoagie, if you haven't checked out, we covered every single Kolchak episode. So there's a playlist on the channel if you feel like, yes, OG X-Files. And now we're covering X-Files. And
we had even Kolchak trivia on the movies. We talked about the 2 movies and also the entire series. So we've got like 24 videos of Kolchak on this channel.
Oh yeah, lots. Well, I think another cool one to talk about was Jerry, the UFO story. I think this was another very interesting one on a lackluster episode. You remember that one? He had listen. It is what it is, Dave.
It's not the guy who's there to give us hope, is it?
I think I think the story was good. How you take it is a whole different thing.
All right.
Sure. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, but I got one coming up that's
okay.
Weird.
So Jerry,
yes.
He's got a very vivid dream going on here. Okay. So just out of clear blue, you know, he's worked in the anyways. He's sleeping, he's got a very, very vivid dream just out of nowhere. It's showing basically it's showing him a UFO in this gigantic storage hangar. Okay, so out of nowhere he's dreaming. It's very vivid. He says it's so vivid you can smell the mustiness of this hangar, which is weird. You would think it would be clean and sterile, you know, whatever it is, even in a dream. But the dream somehow there's a UFO, a 50 by 50 foot, I do believe.
That's how big the warehouse was.
What's that?
The warehouse itself was 50 foot by 50 foot.
There you go. Yes. And it fit in there just slightly smaller. So it was a pretty big, your typical flying saucer shaped UFO.
Yeah.
So very vivid, stuffy, he said, smelly, like it was old inside, but it was like he could see the interior of this UFO, like very vividly, everything. He said the whole dream, it just was like real lifelike. And he said it was like a 5 foot, you know, high inside, which means the creatures are probably about 3 or 4 foot tall. Jerry Lewis here, Nutty Professor. So it's you know, that's what he's trying to point out here. Your typical gray aliens or something like that. The interior was all gray. He said there was a 1940s or 1950s type ledger sitting there that he knows.
And the UFO.
And the UFO, yeah.
Yeah.
In the UFO, yeah. Which, listen, okay. So we're getting to, so he goes over to it and he looks at it. And on the cover of it, it says Therp Beam. Therp, THERP, which he said he looked up and was a thing. I couldn't find anything on this, Dave.
I didn't even care to look at it because I called BS on this one.
I know, I probably do too, but it's a good story.
Go ahead.
So he said he looked it up, and the thought process was that this was some kind of maybe military operation where they were trying to suppress, or they did suppress, the memory he had of this happening because they didn't want him to remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some kind of MK Ultra type thing or something similar. You know, when we had him look, you know, he knows too much information. Let's erase his memory, something like that. That memory is connected to it. I don't know what's going on. Psychic smells are weird. Strange how you understand what you are smelling, but it will be gone a moment later. Chris W. Oh yeah, that's very true too. But the Therp beam.
Yes.
And he talked about it as being some kind of government type experiment or something like this. Something about maybe humans interacting with the radiation or the UFO itself or something. Anyways, Dave calls BS. Could be possible repressed memory from something that did happen. And then he woke up and yeah. So listen, it's a story. Listen, we're grabbing at sticks, Dave, on this show. Bizarre Open Lines.
We are, because it was such a weird, disjointed show. But I'm going to tell you on this, I think it's a repressed memory from him watching Art Bell or listening to Art Bell when Bob Lazar was on, because his explanation of the UFO, of the interior, was exactly the same as Bob Lazar, except somehow someone left a ledger in the book that had work beat
ledger in
written
there.
on it. And I
Well,
was just
I
like,
think, well, if it was BS, he came up with this idea, which was interesting. And I didn't write it down because the THERP stood for something. And I didn't write it down because I'm like going, oh, come on. And then I did do a search and I couldn't find nothing on this, at all. So, yeah, I think BS, Dave, but the way he told it for a second, it enthralled me a bit. So it was a little interesting for me, but yes, I believe what you say. BS. Anyways.
All right. So I'm going to talk about one, and then we can maybe hit some of the miracles and talk about why it was just, weird.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good, Dave. Yeah.
All righty. So
yeah, Rocky Sash, Dave's going to talk about a new story, say.
That's
We're
right.
going to get it out there, say.
Rocco calls
do
in.
it right. Rocco says do it right. Okay,
Rocco
go on.
calls in from Key Largo and says he is put on this earth to give hope. Everyone is here for a particular reason. I'm here to give hope. And what I want to do is I want to open theme parks. I want to buy baseball and basketball teams.
Oh,
I've sent a letter to Bill Gates. Surprisingly, he hasn't written me back yet, but I called his office and the people, and you can see the people going, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And
I'm sure Robert Gates took his call. Yeah.
And one of the goals that he wants to do, which is actually a really good goal.
Robert's got a busy night. Yeah.
Is everyone is over 60. I want to give them free medication. And so Art is just like goes, you know what you should do? He goes, don't bother with Bill Gates. Talk to Ted Turner. He's already got everything going on with the theme parks and the sports teams. Whew.
Oh, Dave, I'm telling you. Yeah, the miracles really got me. Listen, and again, Art Bell said, if you had one miracle, that's all you get. It's like the genie with the one wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, make it a good wish, but these people were talking about 3 different things, and he's like, oh, I said only one. And then, and it's nice to say certain things. I mean, the one woman even called up and said, because her son was born deaf, and she's dealt with it her whole life, and she would like everybody on the earth to not be deaf. You know what I mean? That's amazing, Dave. I mean, it's a lovely gesture from the heart. But even that, is that your number one? I mean, what would you do for all of mankind?
Right.
Art Bell seemed to keep coming back on, which I kind of agree. If you put like a lot of people kept going with, or the one guy said, let everybody know what everybody else is thinking. So that there would be peace among the. Art Bell goes, no, you will have war and people will be killing their neighbors and this, and I'm like going, yeah, you can't have it that way. We're a species of hatred, of happy, of all emotions, and when you get certain thoughts in your head or you're thinking a certain way, it's not going to go. It's either going to go good or it's going to go bad. So I think knowing what everybody's thinking is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
No, there was a guy who also wanted everyone to be the same color.
Oh, that tripped me out because Art Bell was slipping and sliding around. Okay, because he said there should be, to make peace on the earth, there must be just one race. And he said, well, what color would that be? Because knowing that, listen, if you pick one or the other, it would offend the others. And the guy did say it would be a mixture of brown, I would think, because he's taken a mixture of black and white and all the other colors of the shades of human beings. And he said it would all be the same shade of the same color. And Art Bell did say like a gray color. I'm like going, that's perfect. It excludes everybody and starts anew. And you can't change like a lighter shade of gray, a darker shade of well, that would cause trouble. The light grays would get pissed off at the black color grays. You know what I mean? So it's got to be one color, and picking a gray, that would have made. But yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. The miracle line or the miracles that everybody was saying, it just wasn't cutting it, Dave. Hi. Hello. Hey, Noah, what's going on?
I was just reading with Noah. One of the things too was that there was a woman who wanted all the secrets known, that, you know, we could just know like the whole secrets of the entire universe, like how the pyramids were built and why this happened and why that happened. And again, that was just kind of overwhelming.
Well, Zachary says, gentlemen, congratulations. You're everything we've come to expect from years of government training. Now, please step this way as we provide you with our final test, an eye exam.
I was also, I did have one question. Maybe you can answer it for me.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Dave.
Dan from Indiana started talking about rods. Do you know what that was? It was right after there was a guy who was talking about cats. And he's like, I had a cat who was like looking at something and then jumped up and there was nothing there, but it caught it and it made noise. And that was kind of cool.
Are you telling me at all of the art bells that you've listened to, you've never heard of the rods?
No.
Okay. There was a guy by the name of, oh my God, what's his name? His last name
is Escamilla.
Jose Escamilla. Yes. He, okay. So he does photography. And he tinkered with photography, was always interested. I forget. I think it was one day he was videotaping and he slowed down the speed and he saw something that was worm-like. Okay. Go quickly from one side of the frame to the other. So he started experimenting with this and on and on and on and on and on, and footage after footage after footage, slowing down the speed to a certain frame rate. You are able to capture everywhere these worm-like creatures that are like, if you were in the ocean, it would be just like a translucent worm-like type creature. Okay. And they fly about like a snake would in midair flying. Okay. And they would go through rocks, water, air, everywhere. And he has this footage, and you could look, it can be looked up online, YouTube, everything. I mean, you do see these, and you would come to the conclusion that, yeah, he's picking something up. This is something, you know what I mean? But since then, in the Art Bell show, and Art Bell is passed, I don't think this gets any kind of publicity of any kind. And I mean, I don't think it's a hoax. It's never been known as a hoax, but I think it's just so far out that people just, and it's just not, even if it's true, I don't think it's all that interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. The thought that there's something maybe flying around that we just can't see with our eyes because of maybe the speed or whatnot, and bringing it down to a certain frame rate, you can capture it. It's just nothing that excites me at all. You know, if it's there, it's there. I don't know, but it is a thing. And yeah, that's why that guy brought that up.
Okay, cool.
So yeah. Anyways, hi Dave.
Did you have another bizarre story?
I do. Ricky says, so do you know, Dave, what would your miracle be? If I had one miracle God said, you have one miracle you can put upon the earth. And oh my God, that's a tough, yeah. See, I don't even have, I didn't think about it. Do you have one that just is on the tip, you know, your thought there? Right?
I do too. I have one.
Okay.
It's kind of like almost like the prediction show. It's like, what do you predict for next year?
Okay.
For me, it is living forever. Immortality.
Okay. With everybody on the planet.
Everyone.
Would that mess up?
Yes, it would.
Everything?
Yes, it would.
Like if reincarnation was a thing,
it would mess up the ecosystem.
If Earth
ruin everything.
If you were meant to be on Earth to learn, you know, there's something higher than, yes, it would mess with that. But you know
But
what,
we would be
Dave?
here from day one to the end of time, where we watch the sun turn supernova if we're still here. But what a
Cow
fascinating.
Mouse. Come on. That's the genie in the bottle where I want 3 more wishes. You can't do that. Don't even say that. Delete that. No, I'm joking. You can't wish for more miracles. You know, Dave, hold on. Maybe we got to end with a call here. Say something
Oh
real
my
quick, Dave.
goodness. I don't know what to say. Let me look over the miracle lines. People would be telepathic. People ask for that. Um,
Dave's stumbling here. Dave, okay.
I got no stories here. Hold on. Oh, there's one story. Go ahead and get that if you want to.
Okay, yeah, no, it's Chris W. She's got something to say here. So, Chris W., thanks for calling. Let us know what your something bizarre, I would think, right?
Well, it's paranormal.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You know, we got one call tonight, so I don't care
This
what
is
it's about.
paranormal into the
You could
night.
tell us your recipe for your favorite dish. I don't care. Go
Baked
ahead.
spaghetti.
Well, the main reason I'm calling in is this: on your Halloween show that you and Dave had, there was either a caller or somebody who was in the chat who spoke about like paranormal things taking place, and as a child, how they did a lot of sleepwalking. Well, that really stayed in my mind because I realized that as a kid, I grew up in a home where there were times where blinds, like, you know, on the windows, they would go up and down on their own. Sometimes we'd hear a baby crying. I remember after my aunt died in a car accident, I was terrified of my closet door being open because I would sometimes see her standing in my closet staring at me. And I remember one time my dad told me that he went out and had a night of drinking and having a good time with his friends. And when he got home in the middle of the night, he heard something in the dark, and all of a sudden he heard this growling. And he was like, "Who's there?" And it said, "Boogeyman."
What?
Yeah, he said it growled like a lion, and it said the word boogeyman. And the thing about it is that in that house, as a little kid, I was constantly sleepwalking. And so I was just calling in to say that in case there's anybody out here listening who's had similar experiences, because on some level I'm like, wow, the more that I'm understanding as an adult, all the paranormal things around us that people experience throughout their lives. I actually grew up in a house that had a lot of haunted type things happening.
Yeah.
And I just didn't realize it back then. And the whole point of Art Bell was he had all these callers from all over the place, and he would just let them talk. And it was so important because now we're putting all the pieces together. And now that we have the internet, you see all these paranormal investigations, and you see a lot more movies about this type of stuff. And I think your channel is very powerful. I don't think you even understand how open your dialogue is here. So I'm just so happy that you guys are talking about this, and I'm happy you're taking phone calls on these types of things.
Yeah. Listen, I hope more people call in. That's for sure.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Chris, did you grow up in San Francisco also?
No, I'm from the Bay Area, but I grew up in Northern California in the Valley. I grew up in Modesto.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and somehow your family seems similar to mine. Like when I was younger, like there was a whole thing going on with my grandparents, and it came from them, and that's where everything stemmed from. But you seem to have carried, like me, you've carried something along with you that still connects you to that kind of other side, that a lot of paranormal experiences that still happen to you. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, it's what people are talking about, being abducted by the extraterrestrials, and they could be. I said in the chat that if they were cute and they looked friendly, yeah, I'd go and be abducted by them. But if they were those reptilians that you were talking about,
oh no, yeah,
I'll stay home.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chris, for calling in. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I just wanted to know whoever's out there, if they listen, I slept walk too. And I wonder if you had bizarre things that happened in your home that you could connect with the sleepwalking. Because who knows? What if I had some otherworldly being watching me as a kid while I was sleeping and trying to enter my body or something and making me walk out of my bed at night?
Yeah, no, you're going to have me continue on with something here real quick, but thank you, Chris. I appreciate it as always for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Bye. Dave, it does, her talking about the sleepwalking, it does throw a memory out there. I know it's 9:30. Really quick, I don't think I've talked about this part of my night terrors that I had, and night terrors is a thing. You know all about night terrors, right, Dave?
Little.
But they're very bad nightmares where you're
I think the word terror defines that.
yeah, no,
Very bad.
But it coincided. This is a weird thing because she brings up sleepwalking, and
I never slept walk. My sister did.
Okay, Noah, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. I really do appreciate that. Means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chris, for calling in. That's awesome. We got one call today, Dave. It's so hard to get a call.
But not only that, we got a repeat caller, so she's got to wait a whole month before she calls again.
Call them whenever you want. Anybody can call them whenever they want. Anyways, I want to end on this, unless you got something to end on, and then we'll end on what
Just
you
one
end
thing.
on. Night terror. These were, oh God, I don't even know. It's only 9:30. Maybe I'll get back to this. It coincides with the paranormal stuff that happened in my younger years that dealt with my grandparents. And the day my grandmother passed away technically was the ending of those night terrors. And I connect the night terrors with how closely my dream states and that kind of thing is connected to this world and that world. It's complicated, and it's something I would have to dedicate a show to. But the night terrors, and a lot of people have night terrors, and listen, I basically got up and they thought I was going to kill myself. I would jump from the top of a long flight of steps and fly down to the bottom. This was scary stuff. And again, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I was being chased every time at the end of whatever was going on. And to this day, they're so burned in and etched into my brain, these night terrors, which is what we call them. But I think mine was something associated with something a little bit different. Anyways, for another show, Dave, but it was very, very
fascinating that they stopped when your grandmother died.
That is the one thing, as an adult looking back and knowing how strange those were, and everything else that went around and went on that was paranormal, ghost, the supernatural, everything that surrounded my grandma. When she passed on, they stopped.
Well, maybe she got to the other side and was able to block them to keep you safe.
Yeah, or whatever energy, or yeah, I mean, that sounds good, Dave. I love that. Tony, horror writer, good to see you. And listen, I see Noah has something in there. Let me put that up on the screen. That sounds like an interesting story too. But I know Dave's got food and stuff to handle. He gets hungry towards the end of the show.
It's 6:30.
And anything you want to end on here, Dave, or are we good?
I just want to give a PSA here. Don't raise your cats around a pond because they will quack like a duck.